We're not quite at 100. That'll be Sunday, but we're gathering today both because we have morning traffic more than on Sunday morning. Also because today they're gathering at the UN, and we wanted to be parallel. So we gather today to mark this sad occasion, to mark 100 days of captivity after the terrorist attack by Hamas on Israel. Today people are gathering, as I said, and protesting outside the UN. The other night, thousands and thousands of people gathered at the Kotel at the Western Wall. And yesterday, families of the hostages gathered really just at the border of Gaza. There they sang Hatikva, and with a blaring sound system, they hope that their loved ones somewhere in Gaza are hearing and have not given up hope. And so while it is cold this morning here in Minnesota, listen, we're Minnesotans. For us it's a little bit cold, but that's nothing in compared to being stuck in hell in a Gaza tunnel under Gaza for the last 98, almost 100 days. We gather here, and in just a moment we'll go onto the bridge over Highway 100. We gather as Bethel begins its 100th year to mark these 100 days. And we gather by this pedestrian bridge because, as I understand the history, and some of you might know it better than I do, this bridge is dubbed the Peace Bridge because it spanned originally from a church to a synagogue, now a Thai temple to a synagogue, and we think of the Thai hostages as well. And that's, of course, our prayer. We pray for peace, and we know that peace cannot happen until the hostages are released. And you know the fastest way for peace to arrive, the fastest way that will save the most number of lives, Gazans and Israelis, is simply this: for Hamas to put down their weapons, for Hamas to stop holding Israelis and Israel and Palestinians and Gaza hostage to their brutal and their corrupt ways. So let's remember how we got here and why we got here. Israelis, 98 days ago, were at home. They were sleeping. It was Yontif. They were celebrating. They were enjoying a desert party, a dance party, when Hamas attacked, murdering, torturing, raping, and kidnapping innocent people, men and women, teens and babies, Jews, Muslim, Buddhists, Israeli and Bedouin, American and Thai and German and English, citizens and soldiers, and citizens and citizens and citizens. And since that day, their family, our nation, and our world have not been the same. We've been praying and pleading, fighting and negotiating for their release. And while we're glad that some have been set free, we will not rest until all of them, kulam, are set free. There's still around 136 hostages. Some are wounded physically, and certainly all are wounded psychologically. And tragically, as much as Israel and the US and others have done to secure their release, their plight and our pleas have gone unanswered by the world. Why has the Red Cross and the UN had no access to visit, to check in on them? Why has this human rights violation not been the impetus of protests on streets and campuses and at City Hall Council meetings around the world? Why? Because it's Israel. Because instead of focusing on their release and calling out Hamas's barbarian attacks and genocidal aims, these organizations and these protesters spend their time demonizing Israel. Remember, we would not be in a war if Hamas had not launched one that killed over 1,000 and took over 200 hostage. Chaverim, we have a variety. We may have a variety of feelings about the war and about delivering humanitarian aid to Gaza, and we may have a whole variety of feelings about the current Israeli government, but about this there is no disagreement, not about the hostages. We demand that they come home akshav, now, keeping civilians captives, keeping Kfir Bibas, at 11 months old, captive. It's a violation of all that is decent and right, and underscores that for Hamas, this has nothing to do with helping Palestinians achieve self-determination, which I know many of us want to see. This is about terrorizing Jews. This is about Islamic fundamentalism. I can't even begin to imagine 100 days of fear, 100 days of loneliness, 100 days of terror, 100 days of despair, 100 days of helplessness, 100 days of waiting and hoping for help to arrive, 100 days of darkness, not seeing the light of day in a Gaza tunnel, 100 days of illness as no medicine or medical treatment is provided. 100 days of panic, thinking that your captor is going to rape you any moment. 100 days of malnutrition and malnourishment. 100 days of uncertainty, not knowing what tomorrow holds. 100 days of trying not to lose hope. And for their families, 100 days of not knowing if your son or daughter, your brother or sister, your mother or father or relative or friend is alive or dead. 100 days of worry that your loved one is going to be raped any day. 100 days of frustration, calling on world leaders and organizations to intervene, only to feel unheard and for your pleas to go unheeded. 100 days of trying to live some kind of normal life when nothing in life can be normal or acceptable. 100 days of prayers calling out to be answered. 100 days of trying not to lose hope. Today we want the hostages and their families. We want our neighbors and fellow Minnesotans to know that we have not forgotten them. We stand in solidarity, demanding and praying, bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. We are worried. We're worried and we're angry, but we have not lost hope. At this time, I want to invite Shai to come forward to say a few words. We have to have an Israeli voice among us. And then we'll make our way onto the bridge.
I'll be brief. Thank you all for being here today. We have been grieving for the past almost 100 days, but it's also, we have hope. We have hope that we will see the kids and all the other hostages back home. And we have hope because we see the Jewish community around the world being with us, with Israel, understand that Hamas started this war and they need to release the hostages now. When I see you here and the support that you give to Israel, and in the past 100 days we were able to go to DC together, we were able to be here, over 2,000 people came to support each other in this difficult time. We came to so many different events that the community supported, the Jewish community and the Israelis here. And when I'm thinking about 100 days, it's 100 days that I was able to take my kids to ski lessons, to a movie, to have a winter break, to see their family, to have Shabbat dinners. And the hostages for 100 days, being in tunnels, seeing a daylight, maybe 2 hours a day, that's it. That's it. We need to change it. Hamas need to release the hostages now. Thank you.
So it's going to be noisy up on the bridge, but we'll make our way up on the bridge. We'll stay up there as long as you can, manage it until around 8:30. And while it's here and a little bit quiet, let's join together, affirming that we have not lost tikva, hope. Lord, baleva penima nefesh Yehudi omiyah ulefat Ezra kadima ayin lezion Sophia Tikvatenu Atikva Bashnot Habayim V'yotam Chofshi Be'artzenu Eretz Zion Yerushalayim V'yotam Chofshi Be'artzenu